Morning, subscribers. It's time to dish with Dee. Of course, it's me. Today's topic is going to be about mindset. Left me there for a second. Mindset. You have to be in the correct mindset. I mean, when I first joined a few years back, I was so ready. I couldn't wait. Like, I practically ran there. So I knew I was going to do well. Second time, I was a little skeptical because I knew I needed to go. I just didn't want to go. So I started off pretty slow. And then it finally, I think, going and being inspired by people, it clicked. This time, I had left like 2 months or 3 months prior. Just bored, I guess is the word. I don't know what I could call it. Just unmotivated. I guess my mindset was gone. So this was a good mindset when I came back because I knew I'd put back on 25 pounds and I was, and that was a short period of time, and I was just not happy with the way I looked, more not happy with the way I felt. You know it, you feel it, we all feel it. We all know what it is like to feel like crap. Whether we admit it to ourselves or to others, we know when we feel like crap. And we try to cover it up and say, oh no, I feel great. And you don't. It's the hardest thing to admit that you don't feel well because of your weight. Because it's like, that's something you can control. Or at least you're supposed to control it. Supposed to control it. That is the key. I mean, I've learned food is an addiction. At least with me it is. I mean, there's things I just think about. And it's like, it's almost like a drug. It pulls me. Like something could be in the house and I could be in the other room and I know it's in the kitchen or somewhere else, and I'll just sit there and I'll just think about it. Like, ooh, those almond bark is in there. My husband will bring my favorites: almond bark, cashew bark, any kind of bark, dark especially. And, I try, it sits there and you're sitting there and you already had your piece for the day. And you're sitting there and all you can think about is that barks and in that box. And you know exactly where it is. You can actually you smell it and you can taste it in your mouth. And it's all you think about until you go in there, until you have that piece of bark. And then once you've had it, then you're like, why did I have that piece of bark? I don't know I don't even know how to answer that because I've yet to slay that dragon. Yet to slay the dragon. I just don't keep it in. That's what I do. Does that make me victorious? No, because victorious would be it's in the house and I don't want it. But it's there. I just don't have it. I don't have it in the house. I tell my husband there's certain things that are allowed in the house and certain things that aren't. And I feel bad because, it's not just me. We have kids, and you have a husband and who wants stuff. And so a lot of times I'll let him get the things that I don't like, that he likes. So that kind of helps because there's certain things like buttercream. He loves dark chocolate buttercream. I loathe buttercream. Dark chocolate, I could peel it off and eat that. So he gets that. It doesn't even, he could put it under my nose. I wouldn't even taste it. It just does not, fudge does not move me. That's another thing he loves. I do not like fudge. To me, fudge should be on top of a brownie or on top of a cupcake. It's not something you eat. It's too sweet to be eaten on its own, but put it with some cake, yeah, you got a combo. So like things like that, it's something is not my people who call trigger food, then yeah, but even in the best mindset, it's certain things you'd be like, ooh, you think about it. And that's the thing. Just don't think about it. Just if you give it, it's like almost like if you give it the attention, then you get sucked in the black hole of your life. But you have to have a good mindset, and you have to be focused. You have to want it, and you have to realize how bad you feel, and make that be your motivation. And here's the bottom line, and people don't like to hear it. It's going to take time. You're not going to wake up in 2, 3, 4 weeks better. It's going to take months and months to get where you want to go. And you said you may lose 15, 20 pounds and you still might not feel it because you have a lot of weight to lose. I mean, I think I didn't feel till probably 25 or 30 that I actually feel it in my clothes or feel it in myself, and people didn't even notice it till I was probably over 30 pounds. They'd say, "Oh, are you losing weight?" When you're so big, I've said it before, 270 pounds. That's, you know, for my little 5'3" frame, very large. And I carried most of my weight in the front. I guess my chest, bellies, multiple bellies, you might say, and maybe my hips. I don't know. It's hard for me to type out whether I have hips or not, but that's for most of my. So I'm very like an apple, I guess, would be my description of body type. Maybe a pearish, apple-ish. Of course, an apple and a pear, you know, a purple. But so people didn't, and then when you tell them what you weighed, they're like, "Oh my God, you never look that heavy." Well, I felt that heavy. And clothes-wise, when you can't, you know, shop in certain stores because 3Xs are tight, yeah, you're that big. And I never felt like I was that big. Like, in my mind, I wasn't that big. I didn't feel, because I guess when you grow with yourself, you don't feel as big as you are. And Kohl's, if anybody has any Kohl's in their area, I could not shop in Kohl's because, I mean, their 3Xs, I mean, I don't know, were they true 3Xs? I'd say they weren't because I didn't feel I was a 3X, but maybe they were, and I just couldn't fit in them. But there's certain other 3Xs I could fit in, and that's like the bottom, that is it. I don't get any bigger in those stores. I'd have to go to like Lane Bryant, or I don't even know the name of the big girl stores, and shop, and that would have to admit to myself, if I have to go to those stores, then oh my goodness, I am a big girl. And I guess I couldn't admit that. In my mind, I didn't feel as big as that. But in reality, I was. And then once I was to 25 pounds to 30, and I started feeling, then I was able to go shopping. And yeah, oh my God, I got 2Xs at Kohl's, and I was like, oh my goodness. My son works at Kohl's, and he always be like, why are you shopping here? I'm like, well, because they don't fit. And it's sad because you just don't realize. It's a thing to accept when your mind is not where your body is. Like, my mind was still, I was still tinier, and it couldn't accept that I was that big. And when I would look in a mirror, I wouldn't see the way I looked. But if I was in a picture, I swear mirrors lie, but the picture didn't. And I look at this picture, I'm like, oh, who is that? That's you. What is that? That's your hips. I didn't see that in the mirror, and I would always see myself, I look good today. And I'd see the picture, I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Like, I just don't know if my eyes have like, or these mirrors are like funhouse mirrors, I don't know, but I never saw myself as I truly was. Back to mindset. I mean, I do get off topic. I should call it vlog and number them and not give them a title. But you know, you have to be motivated, and once you start on a roll of losing, you get motivated to lose more, because then you feel it, you want it, and you're going to achieve it. Now, whether I'll achieve the end goal, that's still to be determined, because I am still a work in progress. I'm getting there slowly but sure. It's funny, when I first started, I couldn't think of how much I had to lose, because that would screw with my mind. Like, if you have to lose 110 pounds, that's a person, and you think that sounds like this enormous. And it was, and it is. It's an enormous achievement, and it's an enormous task. And when you're faced with that, it's like, I couldn't think of that, because if that would have been so overwhelming that I probably would have quit. All I could think of was, I had to break it down. I had to have a loss every week. I just had to hit 1.5, then I had to hit 3, I hit 4.5. And I had 5. So it was always a small little increments. And I never really looked at the total. In fact, when I hit, I think 25 the first time, my leader, she's like, oh, I didn't, you know, like, because I was just quiet. I didn't say much, didn't participate much. And she said, you're just creeping up there. And then before you knew it was 50. And she's just like, wow, you know, and people are just like, oh, and then, because when you're quiet, you know, something, you kind of blend in, and people don't always notice you. And I shared once in a while, but not too often. I'm like, oh wow, you know, we didn't even realize. You don't. And then because these little things add up. And then like my famous line, as I've always said, is I joined that day and I felt like I was in this huge hole that if I looked up I couldn't see the top of it. And when I started my journey and I got to like 50 pounds, it's like I was climbing and I could feel the dirt in my hands and I could see that there was sunlight up there, that I knew that I was getting there. It was taking me do it at my own pace. I was getting there. And now here I am, probably I have about 20 more I guess to lose. And now I could see the top. I could see it. Whether I choose to get there, that's a whole other story. But I know the top is there. And that's such a feeling to say to people, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because do I do Weight Watchers the way they tell me? No. Why? Because she always says you have to do your journey. So I have to be me, because it's only going to work for me. I can't do your journey. You can't do my journey. You have to find out what works in your world and with your mindset. So my mindset was never to deprive myself of anything, because if I do, then when I get it, I'm going to go, ooh, man, it's going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy, and I'm just going to feast. I didn't want it to be like that. My first couple girls was like that. I didn't eat anything that I wasn't, anything. And then on weigh day, I would go and have myself a treat of anything that I wanted. I didn't count it. It was I call it my free day. And I would have whatever I chose. It could have been, a multitude of things. And it could have been astronomical in points. And what happened was, it ruined me, because I would take days to work that off and then start again. So I'd only have like, a half-pound loss this week. Well, I could have had 2.5 pound loss or a 1.5 pound loss if I'd have to gain the 1.5 pound the first day of my weigh day. So this journey, I didn't do that. Well, I did some once in a while, because it's me, but not all the time. Like maybe once a month or so I would do something a little crazy, but not as much as, then it got turning into, because I wait on Saturdays, so it turned to the Saturday breakfast treat. Then it got to be turned into the Saturday breakfast and lunch treat. Then it got to be turned into the Saturday breakfast, lunch, and dinner treat. And then it got to be Sunday morning treat. I'll just start Sunday afternoon. Well, by that time, you've put on 2 pounds because you've just eaten your face off. Bad mindset. So I try to focus and say, this has to be they call it a lifestyle. So in order to be working my lifestyle, I have to have things that I like and I want, which includes snacks, cookies, some cake. Like, I don't eat a whole piece of cake anymore. I try to go between 2 bites. Sometimes it happens. If it's really good, I give it a 3 or 4. We were out at some Greek restaurant, and I had about 4 bites of this pastry with phyllo and cream and nuts. I had 4 bites. But you know what? Old Denise would have had the whole entire piece, which was probably 15 bites. So I think it's a win. I know people might disagree with me, but that's because in reality, I'm never going to not have it. That's just how life's going to be. And that's how I want it. I don't want to deny myself everything. I still want to live, I still want to live. And to sit there and not have something because, it's too many points. Well, I could have a bite or 2. I have to live. Because let's face it, if I don't, I'll be back up where I was. Because once you get in that mindset of you don't care, that's the best one. You don't care mindset, because you'll eat your face off and you just don't care. And it just goes and you're screwed, pretty much screwed, because you just don't see it. You don't see it. And when you don't see it, I didn't see those 25 pounds go back on. No, I didn't. I understand. They went on. Oh yeah, I got the hips to prove it. And I didn't care. I didn't care. When somebody said to me, hey, I want to join Weight Watchers, do you want to go? I'm like, absolutely. Because I knew I needed to get back, because if I didn't, I was going to be right back up at 270, and I didn't want that. I worked too hard. It's hard. Weight loss is hard. Don't let anybody else tell you different. It's hard. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to do, because you're depriving yourself of food food which we consider nourishment. Good Chris cake isn't that much nourishing, but it's hard. It's deprivation, especially if you lived your whole life like this. To turn around and do something totally different, it's hard. I mean, people come in and they ask you, "Is Weight Watchers hard?" I say it's hard. I say it's hard. Is it worth it? Absolutely. It's absolutely worth it, and you get your life back. That's worth it. But you have to work it. You have to dedicate yourself. You have to have the good mindset. Like the mindset. You have to know you can do it. Believe it and achieve it, because you will. You have to believe you can do it, because if you don't believe you can do it, you're never going to be able to do it. I believed, and I did. And I'm so grateful that I did. But that is the end of my journey, my conversation today. Catch you later. Have a great day. Please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and let me know what you would like to hear me dish about. Thanks. Have a fantabulous day. Yeah, I'm going to park. Yeah, I'm here at work. It's Friday. I'm happy.